November 12th, 2011, never forget the day. Had $2,000 to my name. My wife and I split because she wanted to have a baby. She was pregnant with my daughter, my first daughter now, Hayden. And I was like, you're crazy. Like, this shouldn't happen. I'm fucking broke. Are you mental? And so we split because her mom's super religious. And she's like, if I'm going to have an abortion, I'm leaving you. She left, right? So I met this guy, Ted Danik, and he showed me online Facebook, like ads. I sat in his office and like at noon at one day. And he said, I'm going to show you how to run an ad on Facebook. It was a France diet or something offer. And he goes, listen, come into my office. I'm gonna show you this. I'm like, he's like, how much money do you have? I'm like, $2,000. And he kind of did that, what you did before. which was amazing. I'm like, thanks, buddy. But basically they just kept saying a couple things. They said, watch the stats and don't fuck this up. And they basically brought all these people in to help me. And he did it because, you know, he later told me, he said he saw something in me and he felt really bad that I was in such a shitty place in my life. And I went home, I lit up a joint. Marijuana always seems to have a place in my life, right? And they're like, don't fall asleep, because I'm starting my ad at like midnight. So I start it. What do I do?
Fall asleep.
I fall asleep. I wake up at like 9 in the morning, like crying like a little girl, because I don't come from money. I ain't got no family bread. I had no other real friends. I had no one to take care of me. I just put $2,000 of the last $2,000 I had onto something I have no idea what I'm doing. And I log in at 9 in the morning and it's $0 made, $1,200 spent. I was broken. Probably the darkest time in my entire life. At that moment, I'm like, even with the best help in the world, I'm shitty. So fast forward, they call me like 100 times and they're like, and I finally answer like hysterical. I'm like, Teddy, shout out Ted Danik. I'm like, I need some time, dude. Like, I'm a mess right now. And he's like, bro, look at the stats. The pixel didn't fire. Listen,
I knew that's what you're
I never even knew about a pixel. I'm like, my first wire transaction was like a week prior, and I never heard of a wire. The guy's like, what's your wire information? I'm like, what? What? Is that like special? Like, yeah. So I look, and it was like $3,800 off $1,200. And I turn the spend back on. I closed the day spending $2,000 to make $4,200. That's November 12th, 2011. My whole life changed that way. Let me explain. First 14 days of January, I made $1 million net. I brought my girl back. I got a car for her. I became a man. I had my child, which shaped the person I am today. And each one, now 4 later, have shaped me again. And I do the same thing today. But I realized that taking action when you should is how you crush in this world. I mean, you told me buy Pokemon cards. I didn't even hesitate. I go, cool, which one should I get? And I just started buying, right? I'm just that way. I hold a lot of love and admiration to the people that I trust. I believe, my circle is very small. So if I believe you, I fuck with you and I follow you. So I started running, just normal, online ads, no subscription, no nothing. And then what happened is I started getting some success, but then I realized the industry was maturing and big players were coming into the game and they had bigger budgets than I, and they were just dominating me, just wrecking me every day. I'd get a great position, they'd buy it out, take it, I'd have nothing. And I'm like, there's gotta be a better way to do this. And I remember going into Costco and I kept going in and I'm like, how do they make money on the shit in this fucking place? It's always so cheap. And they gave like $1 billion a year away in fucking, these, what are the tasters or whatnot?
Taste tests.
By the way, I would go away with my mom, my dad, and my brother, and we'd have taste test dinners at Costco. Just going around. That was our evening activity.
Tapas.
I bet you that'd be like a multi-million person Facebook group if every person would just admit to how many times they've done that. We would all get along.
Of growing up, my favorite part, trying the taste tests at Costco.
Imagine doing that as a grown-up high.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. Anyways, I'm sorry.
No, it's actually awesome.
You brought me back.
So long story short is, just like anything, I just do my research. We live in this day and age where if you get off your ass and just use one of those things, there's a lot of answers. People tell you a lot of things in this world. And I looked and it was subscriptions. They were making all this money on that $100 a year subscription. And I was like, well, what did they do? They just gave me access. Like I didn't get anything with that money. I got, and that access to me was so valuable because I got them tasters, because I got all those things that I wanted. I was perceived value, right? So I was like, how can we build this online, right? And so we started looking at the different things, like, do I send a product every month? Do I do this? And what it came to is if I built a version of Costco online where I built chance, the chance to be something bigger, win something, be a part of something. If I gave deals like so that you felt value, right? And then I built a community, people would fall in love with it. And that was my thesis. And that was 13 years ago. And, $1.5 billion later, we've done just that. And my whole being here is building subscription and building communities because like a brand or a consumer, I truly believe in infinite relationship possibility. And I look at it like this. How far do you think a relationship could go if there was never a chance to meet the person in person? Do you think that there'd be a ceiling to that relationship that you could obviously never get past?
I would assume so.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
You think that you could just go forever? Like
I couldn't,
How about your wife? How about like you?
Oh, sorry.
You know what I'm saying? Like imagine.
Okay, I get. Depends what
A
relationship we're talking
personal
about.
relationship.
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
Correct. So the way I looked at it is the one thing we as people all try to do is be a part of something and be tied and be linked and have our money go to somewhere of value, right? And I realized, with your guys' help and showing me this industry and how amazing it is, I realized that is what we needed to create. I realized how powerful it was, and maybe I'm wrong, how powerful it was to meet him.
Huge.
I would say it changed my life.
Absolutely. All of us, everybody at this table, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. And I was hoping you were going to say that. I was all worried for a second, like the fuck Logan.
Oh no, also fuck Logan. But
Also, it's damaged my life completely. So like it's a yin and yang. You know what I mean?
But would you agree or disagree that there's more people in the world like George and Mike?
I disagree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, you got. You need to build these questions out a little bit more.
I mean, not like
a Syrian and a drug addict?
Weirdos, man.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Like, there's people that have the charisma or the desire or
Yes.
that have that it thing it takes
Yes.
that they should have more in life.
Yep.
This is why we created what we created. I think that when you give a creator the ability to create unfiltered, undisrupted, in a safe place of people who vibrate with them and care about them and they're aligned to none of this bullshit over here and there, in return, the fan gets the most intimate experience ever and they get a chance at an infinite relationship. How many people have you brought here? How many people have you taken to the ranch? How many people didn't you just show up at someone's house? Yeah. Aren't you flying someone out?
Yep, this month.
Like, I know it doesn't sound like a lot because you're in the scene and this is life. I mean, you see, it's like, I remember when I used to be like, Logan Paul, damn, this is crazy. Now I just see you just Logan, you're my buddy. I kick you in the balls when I see you and it's fun. But what I realize is, you're a beautiful human being. People should have more resource to that. People should see you as you without you having to dance around their world. Listen, go to those platforms and dance around their world because that's how that world goes and that's fair. But I think that you should also have a world that's yours and something that you dictate how you interact, you dictate how you create, and you dictate the terms of the engagement. And by doing so, I think it builds something really crazy and it's really fun to watch.